How are you guys doing? Welcome back. Today is November 18th, 2021. Happy Thursday to you. Happy almost Thanksgiving week. What a time to be alive. Let's all be thankful. Good stuff. Let's get in the swing cast. What's cool about this channel is that I try and teach you a structure for trading. A lot of folks try and teach you a system. Me and my cat here try to teach you a structure. What I'm getting at is that today we're talking about technical analysis, right? Good stuff. But I want you guys to kind of get through your heads. To be uber successful and to be your most successful, there's some things you need to consider as well that I teach you in the course. That course is for free right here because I'm not a shill. What I'm teaching you in that course is risk versus reward, technical, fundamental, mental analysis, goal setting, macro markets, writing an actual trading plan, and of course being consistent. Those 8 things make me and make others a great trader. These are things that do not change between trades and different markets. Now the markets can change. Structures do not change. Systems can change. Structures don't. Your style can change. The structure doesn't. I try and teach you those kinds of things. Check that course out. It's free as well. If you enjoy my content, I appreciate you. Check the description box down below for information to join my community, and the Discord's available there as well. Newsletters every morning, newsletters every night, availability to my early picks every single day. Video access is early, full courses in there, bunch of great stuff in there as well. Lastly, my previous video from yesterday, plenty of picks are right in value. Watch right here for yesterday's picks as well. Hello kitty, good boy. Those are all right there for you as well. Lastly is my journal, which is also in the description box down below. All the calls that I make on this channel are in there, ready to go. 100% my price targets, all those kinds of things, my loading zone, my stop losses. I follow the plans that I draw up for my patrons, and that shows how successful they are based on the entry and exit strategies that I lay out for them with the price targets and stop losses. Again, I'm not financially advising. I'm just saying I like these plays. If you followed them, this is what would have happened. It's really good stuff. If you are new to this channel when it comes to technical analysis, I'm putting a photo on the screen. That's what all the lines mean. I don't really want to take a whole bunch of time to explain it. If you don't know about volume profile, I talk about this every single day. Right here is a volume profile video. With that being said, that's the last of my little kind of cuts right there. And again, that's the last little thing I want to talk about. With that being said, let's get right into the video and the meat and potatoes that are these 8 great plays. First is Cleveland Cliffs. Cleveland! That's where I'm from, and I hate it every day because Lord knows my team sucks and the city's dirty. Cleveland Cliff. What a great play for the Biden administration play. This is a concrete construction company. They have a lot of great looking upside here. Amazing uptrend. Let's zoom out real quick. We can see that this has just been going up recently. Of course, Cleveland, again, has had higher highs. Great dividend. They stopped it. They brought it back during a time period. But we're having great growth here, which I love to see. Cleveland here has a great POC, which is the strongest support on the total chart, holding us well. Sure, 20 is better, maybe even 19 is better. But with this trend up, the resistance trend's the same angle. It's pretty close. We can see either an ascending triangles forming or just, again, a nice uptrend forming here. It's not the most perfect kind of play when it comes to the trend line, but this is obviously bullish. I want to watch it into tomorrow, into next week, especially with the Biden play. I think we have some really good opportunities here. Let's check the indicators together. I don't actually scan with or use indicators in the scanning or charting process. I only use them with you guys. The reason is a lot of beginners rely way too much on indicators. Indicators show you 4 things. I say it every time, but it's so important. MTV, V, momentum, trend, volume, and volatility. Are the only 4 things indicators show you. These indicators, the email lines, RSI, stochastic, and the vortex, show us the best entry times, best entry places, and again, they go way to exit at a stock, all these types of things. You'll find as you get better with technical analysis that TA is the cake, indicators are the icing. So if you haven't ever watched one of my episodes before, thank you for joining me. You're going to notice what a veteran sees and shows you what I think is best and the easiest way to use indicators. So let's do it together real quick. We can see the 10 cross, that's the blue line, are amazing. When you cross the 10, you have extremely good day trading and worst case break-even opportunities here. You cross the 10, you have amazing runs. When you're properly stacked, price 10, 50, 200 are your best runs. Would I wait for a 10 cross here? Absolutely. It's only 1% away. If you get that, you should be good to go for a day trade. Use that 10 in that area as a stop loss, and you go enter in lower if you're stopped out. Crossing the 50, obviously needed. See how good of a resistance it is, then how good of a support it is when you get above it. Look at, that's not an accident. This 50 is a very strong resistance. So if you cross here, you still got 2 or 3% to hit that. So you wait for a crossover you want to. I would definitely play off of the 10 here, but overall, it's a fine play to cross the 10. RSI's at 38. You love to see that. Stochastic, obvious bullish divergence. You can see that. These are lower lows and higher lows. You'll notice with the stochastic or divergences in the first place, I have a whole video on indicators. I'm not going to do, but I have a whole video on indicators. When the bottoms don't match, that's bullish. When the tops don't match, that's bearish. And we can see the bottoms don't match, but the tops do match. This is actually a very bullish setup in that regard. Bulls are low, bears are high. With the vortex, see where my cursor is? Vertically. See how across there, the green crosses the red? You could have entered there. See when the green crosses the red? You could have entered there. You can enter off of crosses, or you can enter when it bottoms out. It bottoms out right about here. It just tapped there a day ago. So again, we're still low. So bulls, you can buy into value, or crossovers. For a value play like this, we're entering because it's low. Bulls being low, bears being high is what you want to see. Cleveland Cliffs Inc. is a fantastic play. I don't think you have the greatest value here. I think you probably get, I don't know, $1 less maybe. But if that trend holds, if that support holds, this is the best opportunity to jump in. It's been printing. Check X as well. X is more horizontal compared to Cliff. If X is towards the top, I would probably wait. But right here, CLF, it has to be watch listed at least. It's a great long-term hold. I love what I see. Next is EVC, Intravision Communication Corecom Claw. Looks pretty good. Great uptrend here. I've mentioned this in my newsletter today. I may be a bit aggressive with today's trend line. The reason I say that is I can come from right here and see possibly the channel itself is closer to 7.5. So keep that in mind, that maybe it's going to come down and test the 750 area. So if tomorrow we have no life, it breaks down, you don't freak out. If you like it at 8, you'll love it at 750. So I think this is still a really good looking play. It's still a wedge up. These are not the same. If I were to activate this trend line, you can see it's not the same as these supporting ones. It's wedging up. So if we do make a full move, we're not going to get greedy over 12 or 13% because if it's wedging up, eventually this will break down. But all resistance becoming support. It's showing life here. Look at big retracement, small comeback, small retracement, more green, small green. We're starting to see more green with this retracement, and it leads to melting up. With this being a stock that likes to melt up, no point really rushing in. Giving it a day or two into Monday makes sense here as well. EVC, let's check the indicators together real quick. 200 bounces are absolutely divine. Delicious. Bounce, 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 bounce. So maybe again, that 750 area, 760 may get tested. That's fine. 10 crosses are absolutely beautiful. When you cross the 10, you have great life. And again, it's only 1.5% away. If we cross that tomorrow and then it holds, entering's fine. And if you cross the 50, you just confirm you're doing what you wanted to do. So I think a 10 cross here makes sense, or a 200 tap. Either way, for the EMA line entries, both work fine here. 43 is fine. The stochastic's another obvious bullish divergence. You'll love to see it. You can see those don't add up, do they? Lower low, higher low. And then again with the tops here, those are all lows, right? That's all following the same. Obviously not bearish divergence, obvious bullish divergence. Daddy loves to see it. Bulls are low, bears are high. EVC hits every exact box again, just like our other plays here. I think the only issue is you want a 10 cross or you want a 200 tap. I think you can wait for either one of those in either direction, giving up a bit of life to get a better value, or waiting for some more life to get a worse value but confirmation of a short-term trend swing. I think both are fine. EVC, I'd watch it. I love what I see. Good kitty. Next is FSLR. First, solar. I love solar plays. I've been talking about solar plays for quite a while now, especially with them in concrete and some other great stuff. It's coming down to value. Now again, this is not the greatest trend line of all time for resistance. This supporting one is pretty divine, I'm not going to lie myself. Obvious earnings overreaction. It ran up to it, ran back down. We want to get closer to 100, 3%, 2.5%, a little bit lower, right? We wanted a bit lower. But again, I want to be on your guys' radar, because if this does come down to $100, very easy entry. Sure, your $96 spot here is a way better support area with the volume profile line. Maybe even closer to $91 is a better support play. But this trend's running, and again, a full move, even from where it is now, full move up is still 15%, risking only about 3 to 4%. That's still almost 4-to-1 odds here. Not bad at all. Great fundamentals. It's coming down to where you want it. I love what I see. Good dividend payout for the earning call. I like what we're seeing here. Let's check the indicators. So first is the 10. 10 crosses are goated. You cross that 10. Worst case, Ontario, you're going to have a break-even trade. Waiting for it here. Again, it's only 2%. That's fine. Next is the 50. Again, strong support. You break above that, you're good to go. Too far away. I don't care about it at this play, at this moment. 200 cross is great. Every time you get below 200, what happens? Value. 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 Do note, though, when you get below the 200, it takes time. 10 days. Below 200. 15 days. It takes time. We're only on day 3. We may be here for the next 4, 5, 6 days. So have some patience here. But a 200 cross or a 50 cross both work fine here. RSI's at 35, great value. No true divergence. I mean, you got a small one. They're not going to put a whole bunch of emphasis into this one. It's such a short-term thing. I'm not putting a lot of emphasis into this. But again, obviously no bearish ones. That's a good sign. And again, negative 21, okay value. You probably want closer to negative 70, negative 69 to be exact. But anyway here, it's still oversold. Bulls are low, bears are high. It checks every box. Right, we want that 10 cross probably for a play like this, but you have your obvious value. I love the fundamentals of solar right now. It just makes a lot of sense with me. Same with, uranium. I called uranium, I think, in like March, and it's been running ever since. I think this is very similar. FSLR, I definitely watch list. Next is GNRC. My camera didn't die, yours did. Shut up. GNRC is a great long-term hold. This thing's been printing literally for years. Now, when it first started, it kind of was back and forth. But overall, the last 4 years, absolutely rocketing. And I mean, this may be a bit high. Sure, 392 is a good support. Sure, 289 is perfect. But right here, this upward trend, higher lows across the board, super strong support, earnings overreaction. It's right where you want it. Again, you may be able to zoom out and find maybe some better levels. But again, it's still a great uptrend right here. I love what I see. I would definitely watch list it. I think right here showing some life is a great sign. And again, look how long the reversals are. If you're new, you have to think about these kinds of things. This reversal took 4 to 5 days. This one took about 3 days. Is that a good eye? Yeah, 3 days. Took about 7 days here, right? Is this about 7 days? 12. I'm good. So, right, so rushing in here makes very little sense. There's not many reversals that are very quick. Now, at this line there are. So again, wait for maybe one more green boy, right? We get one more green candle. Maybe that's a sign of reversal. But right here, watch list it. Let's see what it does on Monday. But let's see what it does tomorrow. But let's just kind of give it a minute. See if we can get a bowl-shaped reverse here. Let's check the indicators together. Under the 200 consistently. Good value comes back. Good value comes back. Same here. So again, we have a great value. The 10 crosses are beautiful. Look at that. That is a technical trader's dream right there. These 10 crosses are gorgeous. All the way up to 10. Good to go. So waiting for a 10 cross here. Makes sense. 2% for that. I would personally wait. RSI's at 35. Stochastic, no divergences. It checks up a negative 70. Is real low. Bulls are low. Bears are high. GNRC hits every box you want to see. Again, it's been printing for months now. Printing for years now. And there's a great lesson in this one. If you always think you're late, you're never going to be early. Right? So I think if you like to have a good company that has been printing for years, do your DD, but GNRC to me makes a lot of sense. Next is Halo, the great company here name. I like that. And Infinite just came out. It's a pretty good beta. Go check it out on Steam. Halo here is a really good looking play. Against therapeutics, you gotta be very cautious, but it's a downward wedge. I can zoom out to a year, and it's obvious we're having nice lower lows, lower highs, but again, it's starting to consolidate. This trend line is probably a bit aggressive for where it is. Sure, I mean, you can see a cut through action here. It probably can be a bit lower. That support that I drew is holding, though. The reason I drew it there is that this gap is right here. If we lose this, it's going to die, and it's going to die quick. So make sure you guys have a stop loss if you do like this one. Earnings overreaction. Every earnings, it sells off. It sells off. It sells off. And again, if we do hold here, what's the reversals like? This is so imperative. Takes its time. Took its time. Took its time. So again, rushing in here makes very little sense. But if Halo starts to show some green, have smaller retractments and show some life, it makes sense here to about $35. I'd watch it down here. I like what I see. Let's check the indicators. I'm sure the 200 is going to be our big resistance. It very surely is. that's going to be your true go long signal. If you do enter and it keeps going, you'll be good to go. Note this, deep stuff. The trend line is doing what? 200 is going down. So when the trend line's going down, I'm trying to find a trend line that matches it. Not the exact angle. I don't really care about the angle at all. But I do want to say that this is going downward, so I'm going off of this downward trend line. If the 200 EMA line was going sideways, I put more emphasis into the support. So that's how I use the trend properly. So I think down here, the trend line is most important. And again, bouncing off here makes sense. Underneath the the 30 on the RSI, it's a good value. Bulls low, bears high. I mean, it's a huge sell-off. I mean, where's the ground and the floor at? No one knows. But I think this is a really good looking trend line bounce. I just love the value. If it shows some life, you're getting right in the bottom floor of a possibly great therapeutics company. I'd watch this. I love what I see. Next is MOSY, MOSY. A great uptrend once again. Let's zoom out. It's only a few dollars, right? And you can see it's had better days. And again, of course, with stock splits and whatever, it's had worse days. We can see consistently higher lows across the board. As of recently, great trend up. And again, I may be being a bit aggressive, or maybe the trend line's closer to about 465. Nonetheless, this support area that we're getting into, this area, this trend line's great. The POC is a strong support and gravitational, so we should have that pulling us up soon. And look at every time we get ourselves a little baby earnings call, drop, earnings, drop, earnings, drop, my self-esteem, drop. So I think this is a really good looking play for the overreaction. It's making a nice ascending triangle, right? Nice little ascending looking triangle here, right? We're getting higher lows, the highs staying the same, showing some bullish movement. I love what I see. Let's check the indicators together, my sweet baby angels. 10 crosses are great. It is important to note the 10 crosses are not nearly as good when they're below the 50. That's an important thing to always notice, and beginners don't check that. Over the 50, beautiful. Below the 50, like over here, they're okay. Nothing to write home about. But 10 cross nonetheless is a good idea here. I mean, it's 3 or 4%. I would give that up for some form of confirmation. You obviously have value down here, but until you get any type of life, it's just selling off. So I wouldn't catch a knife. I wait for 10 cross myself. RSI, it's low. Stochastic, it's low. Bulls are low. Bears are high. It's showing value across the board. Can you buy into value here? Absolutely, you can buy into value. Absolutely no problem. What I'm seeing, though, is that you may want to wait for a 10 cross. But overall, I love what I see. It's a great looking play. Next is SYK. I called it for the trend line, and we can see it's having some weird action overnight. It hit the support perfectly, and now it's showing life. I'm not going to talk about this one. The reason is I don't like this action here. Super weird after hours. I'm not a hack who just like calls stuff to call it. If it looks weird, I'm not going to stick with it. SYK, I would definitely watch list it. I mean, if it comes back tomorrow, we should be good. But right here, I don't like what I see at all. But I do like VKTX, Viking Therapeutics. This is exactly what I wanted to see right there. Ooh, a little dippy dap and comes back. That's a great rhyme. That's on accident. Dippy dap and come back. This is a great uptrend over months here. I was coming off of here, and you can see it's perfectly lined up like this. I don't put much emphasis in this far. Like, it's over a year away. It doesn't mean anything. But we can see clear support area right here. It's absolutely gorgeous. Do your duty. Do your DD. It is a therapeutics company. Look at earnings. Overreaction comes back. Earnings. Overreaction comes back. Earnings. Overreaction. And it comes back. So right here, it's a great support play. Anywhere beneath the volume profile line is great. Even here, risking 3 or 4% with a full move being 15. It's 5 to 1. It's showing life right before close. Great trend up, making a nice ascending triangle, which are my favorite because I'm biased towards them, but I like them the most. We can see clearly higher lows with the same resistance. My favorite kind of setup. It's living here. Even if you don't like, if you don't believe this trend line, I think this trend line's stupid. Horizontally speaking, it's a great horizontal channel nonetheless. Let's check the indicators. 10 cross is where I always start with. Again, beneath the 50 EMA line, the 10 crosses are just meh. But over the 10, they're really good. Overall, though, they're just okay. I think 10 or 50. I think 10 crosses are fairly worthless. 51s are much better, and waiting for a 50 cross here is very illogical. Second thing I notice is that the trend line from over here to here is doing what? It's going sideways horizontally. So I like the trend. I like this trend. But because the trend line here, look at it from all the way over here to where it is now, has gone 100% horizontally sideways, I'm going off with the horizontal supports. I hope that makes sense. It's hard to kind of iterate, like, to say that and it not make sense sometimes. But like, if the trend line's going up, if the 200 is going up, I'm playing off of a trend line that's going up. Not the same angle, mind you, but just a trend line up. If it's going downward like it did with Halo, I'm going off of a downward trend line. Again, the angle doesn't matter, but the trend does. And in this case, VKTX is going sideways, so I'm putting emphasis into the sideways support here. That's how I use EMA lines correctly, you goob. So this is pretty good here. Value. I mean, it has everything you want. All right. I mean, you want a 200 cross, you want a 50 cross, you want your kids to love you again, whatever it is. But VKTX has a good value here. I love what I see. And there you guys have it. A rougher day for the video because my cat was distracting and then my camera died. So it's been a fun time recording my last episode. If you didn't know, today is my 364th day on YouTube. That's pretty crazy to think about. That I've actually been doing this for over a year now. Right, actually no, right before a year. That's what I meant, idiot. So, if you've been here the whole time, I appreciate you. Great stuff. Otherwise, welcome to the family. We'll see you guys on Sunday for one more watch list and into another great week. Have a good one. I appreciate it.